Hi Nick, how are you doing?
All right, are you?
Yeah, good. We're going to talk about fear today, aren't we?
Oh, I'm a bit scared about that.
Did you know that you were only born with two fears?
Liverpool winning the Premiership and spiders.
No, incorrect. You're only born with two fears, and those are the fear of loud noises and the fear of being dropped. All of the other fears that you get through life are learned. You either learn them from your parents, your environment, your friends, your family, whatever it happens to be, or, and this is the really interesting thing, you decide to be afraid of them or decide to not be afraid of them.
Yes. Yes. Okay, I get that. So, with the virus thing that's going on now, I sense that some people are genuinely scared.
Mm.
And Sally and I were talking about that this morning. And I said, yeah, okay, in this past 6 weeks, I've had a couple of occasions. Normally, it's about 3 o'clock in the morning when one tends to catastrophize, where I have been a bit scared. But overall, I've just decided not to be scared. And it's a conscious decision. I'm not. And that's an end of it.
Yeah, yeah. I think it is a conscious decision. So there's a couple of things there. Lots of people say, "Oh, I'm scared of the dark." Many, many years ago, I decided not to be scared of the dark. I think it was when I had my first baby, actually, and I spent most of my time up in the middle of the night. And we
Yes.
lived in the middle of the countryside then, where there were no
Yeah.
street lights, and it was pitch black.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, I can either be scared and pass that on to my baby, or I can just relax. And ever since then, I
Yeah.
actually really like the dark, which people find a bit odd. And then there's we think I had the virus.
Yes. You had all the symptoms.
I did. And again, during that time, I decided not to be scared and realized it was just a virus and I'd get over it and treat it like any other virus, because I'm one of those lucky people who don't have underlying health conditions.
Yeah.
And I'm not over 60, luckily yet. Got a while to go. And I also made a decision that there's some debate as to whether you've got antibodies after you have the virus or whether you can have it again. But I thought, you know what, I'm going to decide that I've got super duper antibodies now and I'm not going to get it again.
Yeah. And I don't have a faith. Many people do, but I don't have a faith. But if you do have a faith and you believe in God, you don't need proof to believe in God. Yes,
No.
people who believe in God don't need proof for that. It's just their belief, and they choose to believe it.
Yeah.
And I suppose that's what we're getting at. It's just choice, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just a conscious decision. That's not to say that one should be cavalier.
No,
in
not.
the virus, you take the normal precautions and you be sensible. But
Yeah.
there's certainly a mindset, isn't there, without a doubt. And it's funny you say about the dark, because that reminds me. Do you remember when I was a kid, I used to be really scared of Daddy Longlegs?
Yes, you did.
So if Daddy Longlegs came in the room, I would run out, and this continued into adulthood until I was 32.
It makes me laugh thinking about
Well, it makes me laugh now. But somebody said to me, whilst I was panicking because of Daddy Long, I was shutting myself out of a room. He said to me, do you know what? You need to be careful of that, because George, my firstborn son, he was only 3 months old, he said he'll pick up on that. And in that absolute instant, in that moment, and I can remember exactly where I was when that happened, and that person said this to me, in that instant, I stopped being frightened of Daddy Longlegs. I mean, I just stopped. That was it. And now they don't bother me.
It was the same with spiders for me, and it was the same with Lottie when she was a baby. I can either pass this fear on to her or I cannot be scared.
Yes.
And I decided not to be scared of spiders.
So without being too controversial, the media doesn't help, does it?
Well, no.
The media, You know, gosh, doesn't Brexit seem like a long way away?
I long for I miss Brexit.
That's right. And it doesn't matter which way you voted. It really, really doesn't matter which way you voted. But the media would have you have believed that the world had come to an end, that was it, that Great Britain as a viable economic force was, well, that was it, we were dead. Yeah. We were never going to be able to fly anywhere, and nobody would ever come to our country, and we would never be able to go anywhere else, and that was it. And, you know, things aren't that black and white, but they love to catastrophize.
Yeah, they do.
And I'm not having a go at good investigative journalism, but I think, you know, if you're a big consumer of the news, and you know that I stopped consuming, I used to be a voracious consumer of news, a legacy of our mother, really, being brought up on Radio 4, wasn't it? But over 2 years ago, I just decided not to consume news. So this week, I've listened to a 5-minute news bulletin on Classic FM. It was yesterday, and I said to Sally, the news was coming on, I said, shall we listen to this news? And she went, yes. And we won't listen to another news broadcast probably for another 3 days. I personally don't do Facebook, and I don't do Twitter. So I'm not filling my brain with all this, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Now, lots of horrible things might be happening, but I choose to go, I'm just going to worry about what's within my control. And what's going on outside of my house, I cannot control, so I refuse to worry about it.
Exactly. You can only focus on what you can control. You can only adjust your mindset and your attitude yourself. You can't adjust anybody else's. You can't make people think one way or another. And you can choose. I think we might cover maybe choosing to be happy on one of our talks.
Whoa, controversial.
Controversial.
Are you allowed to be happy at the moment?
Well, should we save that for tomorrow?
Yeah, but before we go,
okay.
And I read this, and I put this on LinkedIn a few weeks ago, but I want to draw people's attention to it, and it's this book here.
Oh, yeah. I've not read it yet.
The Rational Optimist by Matt Ridley. And for anybody out there, I cannot recommend this book enough.
Okay.
Ian McEwan on the back of it says, no other book has argued with such brilliance against the automatic pessimism that prevails. And notwithstanding COVID, generally speaking, there's been huge amounts of pessimism about, oh, this is awful, and this is awful, and this is awful. And this man, using fact, just goes, stop being so bloody miserable. And it's a really great book. It's a fantastic book, and it's a great book.
Brilliant. And on that note,
I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.